Welcome to the Empowered Slacker Society, where we believe in working smarter, not harder, so you have more time and energy for the things that truly matter. Each week, we share a powerful strategy with a new guest expert to help you achieve more with less effort. If you want to get these weekly tips, subscribe to the channel, follow the podcast, and be sure to sign up for our weekly email newsletter. Everything is linked below. Let's get into this week's tip.
Empowered Slacker Society. How's it going? I'm Julian Kohlbrand. I'm also known as Jules the Budget Nerd. I host the Debt Rebel podcast, Personal Finance for Families, but also I'm a certified financial coach. And so today I'm going to tell you about the 5 ways to get your financial house in order. My story, why I'm so passionate about teaching these things that I have learned in my journey, and also ways that you can put these into place so that you can get your finances in order so that you can focus on other things that matter more to you in life. Story starts in the 80s. Hey there, 80s kids. My parents taught me how to live within my means, and I didn't know what a car payment was until I was later on in life. I didn't know that that's how a lot of people live their lives. And I was taught that you spend what you make and nothing more. Save some money along the way. Also, I decided to continue my education and got a degree in economics and spent over 20 years studying personal finance on my own. And I have learned a lot of things along the way. And the best part about that is I have learned that managing our money has a lot less to do with spreadsheets and numbers than it does with our behavior and our ideas and our thoughts about money and how we use it. So early 2000s, I met my husband and we bought a house, we got married, and then we were just kind of living life. We accumulated over $107,000 of our own debt, which, yes, I know is ironic because I was taught that was not the way to do life. And when I had the opportunity to branch out and do it on my own, I said, oh, I don't have to go back to the way I was taught. I'm going to try and do it this other way. Throughout all of that, we accumulated a ton of debt. 2012, we experienced some job layoffs. We continued to add debt and we didn't have any savings. And so that was a really hard time where we really had to stop and go, what is most important to us? First off, we were adding our own stress to ourselves because we were living beyond our means. Like we weren't going crazy with our expenses, but it was little things here and there that really added up. And until I started my financial coaching practice, I didn't really know how much debt we actually had until I went back and added the numbers up. And to know that it was over $107,000 just blows my mind because it took us 6 years to pay that off. And now we can say that we are debt free, except for our home. We're working on that very soon. That will be a big celebration for us. But fast forward to 2018, we had eliminated all of that consumer debt, and my husband and I decided we were going to renew our vows, and that was our 10-year wedding anniversary, but also our debt-free party that we wanted to celebrate with our friends and family. And I didn't know what was coming next, but I knew that getting ourselves financially organized was going to be so important because it was going to help us get to a spot where when things happen that were out of our control, we could respond instead of react to them. So fast forward to a year later, I become a new mom at age 36, something I didn't think was ever going to be possible for myself. And then the pandemic hit, and I was able to leave a career that I absolutely love to stay home with my daughter and spend those early years with her because we were debt free. We were in a spot where we were financially organized. We were living within our means. We weren't overspending. We were making sure we had things set aside for savings and the retirement and the things that were really important to us and creating experiences for our families that were really, really important. It's allowed us to enjoy our time as a new family. And then I had the opportunity a couple years ago to walk with my younger sister. She went through breast cancer treatment, and I was able to be there for almost every single one of her doctor's appointments. And she has 3 young girls, and I was able to be there for my nieces and still show up for my family. But if we had all that consumer debt and we were trying to pay for yesterday, I wouldn't have been able to be present in that moment and in those moments with my sister and her kids. I was able to show up in a way that I really wanted to. I wanted to be able to be there for my younger sister. And now that she has gone through that whole journey and she's on the other side of it, we're able to celebrate together. Um, And we're able to celebrate these milestones and the little things and the big things of life together. And so, in the course of that, realizing how important it is that having my finances in order was going to free me up and free our family up to make choices that we might make differently if we were burdened by debt. And so that's when I launched the Debt Rebel podcast and my financial coaching practice. And that brings us to where we are today. And the things that really matter to me when it comes to passing down what I have learned is education, empower, and eliminate. I love teaching this repeatable process. If I can do it, you can do it. It is absolutely, even though I had all of that head knowledge of what it was like to manage my money, things, taking that head knowledge and applying it to day-to-day life is a very different thing. I've had the opportunity to work in retail management and nonprofit fundraising and seeing people that have had lots of money and then some that had not much and how they managed it. And all it comes down to is lining up with what matters most to you and then allowing your finances to show that and demonstrate that. So if I was to look at your last month's bank statement or your spending plan or your budget, if you will, I should know what is important to you based on how you spend your money. Love to empower and help you build confidence in making those financial decisions. That's the best part about having a plan is when money comes into your household and it comes into your hands, you know what's going to happen next. So that cuts down on a lot of the impulse buys because you've already pre-planned. You're going to eliminate that decision fatigue and also opting for those things that are emotional purchases when you have a plan. And then also eliminate. So saying goodbye to things that don't serve you anymore, and we're going to leave those behind. And for myself and my story, that was debt. Debt is so expensive. We spend more money if we know that it's like swimming in quicksand. We're just going to keep going. And the only way that we can stop that is to stop some of those behaviors. So we're going to talk about how to get organized. So I've created a checklist for you. These are some of the very first ways that I went through our household expenses and to create our very first budget. And I like to say it's creating a budget that you'll actually follow because we can put numbers on paper or we can put them in an app all day long. But if it's not something that you're like, yes, I'm excited about spending my money, it's never going to work. So one of the things, going back and looking how you spent your money last month is a really great indicator. We've had people go through this exercise and do this and find out they've been paying for the same subscription twice. So right there, that frees up some money that you can be putting towards something else. So going back through, highlighting the things on your credit card statement or on your bank statement of the things that are reoccurring and see, okay, are those things that am I still using those? If they're not, that could be something that you eliminate from your spending plan. And then also making sure that you have the most important things taken care of. And so that takes me to that next step is meal planning. So this was one of the last things that I did when it came to tightening up our finances and getting them organized was meal planning because I always felt like it was so hard and it was such a big task to take on. So I found a great resource called supercook.com. And the really great thing is you can skip the grocery store just by using this app or go to this website. Plan the busiest meal of your week. So whatever it is, if you work late and you just want something quick and easy when you get home, plan that. Or if you have busy mornings, so find the busiest time of your day or of your week and plan that one meal. Just start there. And the cool thing about supercook.com is you can put in all the things you have on hand and it will give you a recipe based on those things. And there you go. You just make that. And so there's all kinds of recipes on there that are going to help you create some time, but also free up some expenses. So you're not spending your money at the grocery store. You can use what you already have on hand. And then I say, set up a separate email account for all of your bills and your receipts. Now, this for myself, I like to create some boundaries in my week. And so having those things constantly pop up of receipts of things that I've spent or bills that are coming due, I set aside a time where I can go through that email and I can check for those specifically. So if you have them sent directly to a specific email address and not the one that you use for everything else, have that set up just for your bills and your receipts. And then that way, when that time comes and you've set aside that on your calendar and say, hey, this is the time I'm going to pay bills, you can go to that and you can stay focused. So that is going to help you also stay organized. Then create a draft of your monthly spending plan. And a spending plan really is just a budget. It's you spending your money before it comes in. And I'm not saying write all the checks or set up all the auto pays. It is being intentional with how you spend your money and saying these are the things that are most important to me. And then following through with that. I say that the things that are most important are if you remember Maslow's hierarchy of needs, if you took Psych 101, it's the things at the very bottom of that triangle. And it's going to be the things that are going to keep a roof over your head, food in your belly, and then transportation to and from work. So that's going to look different for every single person, but making sure that your rent or your mortgage is paid and your utilities so that you can continue to have a roof over your head. And then I go back to that meal planning. And that's really important because we don't want to skip meals. That's not healthy for us. And that's also just going to create extra burden for ourselves if we don't eat, right? So making sure that we can only go 3 days without food. And so don't skip meals. Meal planning, and also the average family wastes over $1,000 a year in food that gets thrown out. So if meal planning is not an area where you're like, I really do not want to do that, I encourage you to just give it a shot and maybe try just planning one meal, maybe 2 meals a week, and seeing how that goes, because that's going to keep you away from things that are super convenient. It's going to keep you from going for takeout all the time. Not that those things are bad. It's just when we go to those for convenience all the time because we're hungry, we're not setting ourselves up for success when it comes to the financial part. If you have other goals and you choose to spend your money other ways, create that monthly spending plan. And then in that last part of the basic needs is making sure that your transportation to and from work is covered. So if you have to commute to work, then making sure if you have car payments and insurance that those things are covered. If you also maybe you do telework, you work online, making sure that your internet is paid. And yes, that does fall under the utilities part, but making sure that your internet doesn't get shut off because that's going to help protect your income. And then last is just continuing to learn from someone that's been where you want to go. Now, this was one of the things for me that was really, really helpful is figuring out I wanted to be debt free. We wanted that for our family so bad. And so I just took in all of the information that I possibly could and learned as much as I could. So whether that's podcasts or books, but making sure that the person that you're getting your information from and your education from is someone that you would trade spots with. That is like always been a really great indicator for me is if I would trade spots with based on the advice that they're giving, if I feel like, yeah, that's where I want to go, then that person's a great person to get some encouragement from, and also to know that you're not alone. And so that's what I absolutely love is being surrounded by people that are going the same direction I'm going, that have goals when it comes to their finances, because as a culture, that's one of the things that we're encouraged not to talk about. And I think that helps keep us stuck. If you want to make some of those, make some progress when it comes to getting your financial house in order, I'd absolutely love to help encourage you in that area. And I do have a resource available for you just for being a part of this. It's the Debt Rebel Starter Kit. It's the same steps that my family took to get rid of our $107,000 of consumer debt. I also have some great ways for you to free up some more money within your current spending so that you can create some more financial margin. And financial margin is really just the difference between what your expenses are and what your income is. And so creating that bigger gap there is going to free up more of those dollars that you can put towards things that you want, whether that's getting out of debt or if it's saving for a vacation, or maybe it's just creating some savings so that when life hits, you have a little bit more breathing room, and understanding what financial stability looks like and feels like for you is going to help you create so much peace of mind. So I hope that today's information was really helpful for you. I would love to hear what you think. And don't forget to check out that Debt Rebel Starter Kit. And to your financial freedom, I am cheering you on and I'd love to get to know you.
We hope you enjoyed this Slacker hack of the week. Remember, smart work beats busy work. Until next time, stay empowered, stay slacking. If you want to do a good deed of the day and help us grow the channel and bring you even more amazing content, leave us a comment, subscribe, leave us a review, do all the things. We'll see you guys next time.